Hello everyone, so following from the last video, today we're gonna look at the next game for the Apex Arena Finals in Season 11, and this game will be between FrostSign and RM Hoang Hieu. I don't know, probably butchered that name. And this is a 2-1 game for FrostSign, so FrostSign, you know, is a fairly popular name by now, I would assume. Look at it, he's been around since forever and he's had a few pretty decent finishes as well in playoffs. And he's also usually on the top ladder during ladder season. Whereas for RM, his account, he didn't really start entering playoff until season 5. And he hasn't really been able to make a splash until this season in top 16. So yeah, let's see how that 2-1 game went down. Okay, so taking a look at the box, FrostSign's one, you know, it's typical FrostSign stuff, I would say. 3 tanks, even one off tank in Autocrator, 2 healers in Sissi and Ro16, so it's a lot of tanks but not that many healers. And then beyond that, I guess Kyra doubles as a healer, sort of, slash assassin. There's Oboro, Pepsi, Wehttam, and Werner and Diehard as assassin. So he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 actually, if you consider overall assassin. So it's mostly a lot of tanks and a bunch of assassins, and then you have Wehttam, Langrisser, and IBC, because in season 11 I don't think you should build a box without them unless you're building something very extreme. So 4 tanks, 2 healers, 6 assassins, and then 3 meta DPS. What we look at. And for RM's side, we have Hilda, Sissi plus 13. See? But he has a Helena and a Himiko here, so a little bit heavy on the AoE side, slightly. And yeah, let's look at the draft. First ban Rosa. Okay, so I already don't like this. So I've already went through the game slightly and I've already identified some of the key points, but I kind of skipped over everything else because I realized when I was streaming, if I just look at the game straight, I will probably miss out some stuff, and I, don't really want that. So I looked at it for a little bit, and yeah, I came to some conclusions already. So first ban Ro16 is bad, I think, but I think that is a byproduct of his playstyle and his box composition. So I've played against him in ladder a few times, and his primary plan is always he gives the tank, and then he disables the tank with either Wehttam, Azusa, like a Diehard stun, Cherry stun, something like that, and then he goes for a DPS after that. So that is the primary way he plays. So you can see Helena mobility down might, not Helena, Himiko mobility down might work as well, and Helena can go for the backline after the guard is disabled. So that is the primary way he wants to play. But that doesn't really work against FrostSign, because you look at his team, there's a Ro16, Sissi, IBC with Goddess Tier and Kyra. So there are 4 sources of this spell. And even if you give Azusa does about 5 debuffs with the Bone Shatter Hammer or whatever it's called. Even Kyra can probably dispel like 3 or 4 of that. And it's a very unreliable way of breaking. And wanting to play that sort of playstyle kinds of skews your box a certain way. Like you look at this box. It's kind of split between its identity. He has a bunch of AoE, he has a bunch of units that wants to hit the tanks, and then he has a bunch of assassins after that. Usually I would say if you want to play like an aggressive box, you can only fit primarily 2 types of DPS characters, which is assassins, tank busters, and AoE units. You can only pick 2 out of those 3 and then you play along that. This box tries to fit all 3 because you can see Azusa and Elwin belongs to the tank busting side. Helena and Himiko belongs to the AoE side because, let's be honest here, Helena's not gonna bust any tank. And then he has a bunch of assassins here as well, Werner, Pepsi, Diehard, McLaine to a certain extent. Then he has Wehttam, TJS, and Langrisser as the usual flex DPS. So it's a bit, this box is a bit all over the place and you can't play all 3 at the same time. And you will see what happens in the draft. So normally you don't need to ban Ro16, right? Because if they really, like, first off, I think there's 0% chance FrostSign is gonna pick Ro16 in this box as first pick. And even if he does, then you just continue banning his DPS, and eventually you're gonna play against Ro16 with 2 tanks or some shit, and you can just pick an assassin, kill 1 key unit, and just win the game that way. So I don't think Ro16 first makes any sense here, but that is a byproduct of his box composition. So first off, Wehttam just gets taken out, picks his own Wehttam. Then Hilda and Sissi White gets banned out, so he went back for the tank, so he wants to force a tank pick on his second pick, and he leads with IBC. Langrisser and Hilda here, so you know, we've seen these 3 bans like a million times by now. The tank does get picked up. Now we lose out IBC and Kyra. So you know, I mentioned earlier, right? He always goes for the dispel, and then he tries to bypass your tank that way. But what does he pick after this? Sissi White. I don't know. You're running very low on so-called tank disable at this point. It's only left with Azusa at this point. I'm not sure why this box doesn't have Lost Hand. So, cause I know this is a whale account. It's literally UL. So I don't know why there's no Lost Hand on his account, because I think Lost Hand would fit perfectly with the way he wants to play. You just stun the tank, undispellable, and you just run away. And because it's undispellable, you don't need to care as much about the dispels. You only need to care about immunity. So yeah. Sissi White second, it's a soft counter to Wehttam, so that he doesn't, you know, go ham on your team and just pick 1 DPS. But that's the problem, right? You banned Ro16, so you gave Wehttam, and because you gave Wehttam, you're pressured to pick Sissi second. So it's like a chain reaction of downward spiral. And because of that, your DPS is now a bit, you're kind of fucked on the DPS side, right? Because you're gonna lose another 2 DPS. So AoE gets out because there's no more, like you literally ban all the healers. So AoE ban is logical. Then you give Langrisser because you've wasted all the bans on the dispels. Then what's next? There's already a tank and you continue to ban the other 2 tanks. Then you pick McLaine. So I would say at this point the draft has been lost already on player 2. Like this doesn't do anything. The thing about McLaine is it's a strong unit, but it's a strong enabler. And the enabler wants to enable his teammates to do something, and McLaine does that by opening up space. You allow your teammates to approach nearer to the opponent's team without getting enraged. But what do these units getting close mean? It means nothing. So McLaine effectively means nothing here at this point. Elwin and Diehard. So Elwin, because Elwin's a strong answer to Christian, because cavalry, and then because of the passive block, and he has no way of removing it, so it's a 2-in-1 package. Diehard is just like one of the other assassins that might be annoying to deal with. But there are like a bunch of, I don't know, like if you want to ban assassin, I'll probably just ban Werner at this point. But you know, Diehard's okay as well. It gives both. Can buff the IBC. It's an okay pick. Now we have Lost Hand, so you look at these 3 units. So you have to disable the tank which you don't have yet, which means that you're probably forced to pick Azusa next. And then you still need to beat all of these DPSs, all of which are very hard to kill. You know, Sissi Lost Hand, Werewolf, Wehttam, fuck it, 2 hands, and then Langrisser with Revive, and you don't have like Revive killers, you already lost your Helena. You have Cherry, but Cherry double hit is gonna be pretty hard to get near this team, I would say. So yeah, you can see like a lot of problems and no answers at all. Bans out Pepsi and Diehard. Picks Cherry, he doesn't even go for the Azusa yet. And he gave Oboro, so literally everything is a high priority target, and you still have to spend something on the tank. And he's kind of going into assassins, but like these 2 assassins are probably on the weaker side. You don't even know if you can kill anything. Like Cherry can't kill this. Cherry might kill this if you bring the Earth Elf. You can kill the summon and run away, and there's 0 answers to overall. Like your IBC has to hit the overall outside of guard or some shit like that. And it does get the no, I mean, why not just go Werner at this point? Then at least you have something to kill the overall with. Why? Your team doesn't care about hitting the tank anymore. Like just IBC is not worth picking the Azusa just to let your IBC hit something else. Why not just pick Werner and don't care about the tank? I think if you pick Warner, this game might actually still be playable, although it's still gonna be pretty hard. Because Lost Hand doesn't have the greatest engage on this map. So you're just kind of praying that the Lucretia doesn't get breeze and fuck you with a black hole or like a free kill at some point. Then this game might still be playable because Sissi is already soft checking the Wehttam. But now this Azusa comes out and I think, yeah, looks pretty bad. Double single attack on Lucretia. I think you can afford to bring Dark Reaper with an AoE with mass attack here. I mean, there's a healer here, but like, CC White doesn't really heal for much, and if you land a heal block, they're gonna be kind of screwed because it hurts the kill range of assassins, and also the kill range on the tank for these two units. So I think a Black Hole might be like Dark Reaper Black Hole might be better. Iron Helmet overall gamble the survivability. Lost Hand with an Ignore Guard and 3C, Wehttam with regular single target, McLaine with AoEs, Inspire Sissi White, Azusa regular, Cherry with Angels, not a fan of this. Like, this Cherry literally does nothing, it kills nothing except for the summon, so good luck with that. IBC mass attack. So, looks to be a very uneventful game because player 1 doesn't need to do anything and player 2 can't do anything. But just for the benefit of the viewers, I will just let it play out so that we don't miss any like random buffs because I can just skip through everything when I watched it myself. Heavy strike formation on Cherry and Azusa. Like I mentioned, this Cherry is not really okay. Never mind. Tenure Breeze on McLaine. Cherry really does nothing. Like if you brought Earth Elf, you might be able to zone the Wehttam a little bit. Now he doesn't even need to care. You can breeze the entire team on your player 2 and you still can't do anything. So, very... You know, let's just say something about the draft problem. And it looks like player 2 does not value his McLane's life. I mean, it doesn't reach now, but it's gonna reach at some point, and if you don't get into the water soon, you're gonna die. Player 1 is perfectly happy to just let the overall story go. Oh. Hell. Lucretia breathed and your McLaine is dead. Yeah. So yeah, you need to praise that Lucretia doesn't breathe and it breathes. So that's -1. Goodbye McLaine. And Lucretia just gets the fuck out. And a very happy despair situation on player 2 as well, forced to use Inspire to get rid of that. And look, what do we have here? Lancer Guard is down, so he didn't position for it in advance. And that's gonna mean IBC dies. So, you know, that's honestly as much value I would expect out of Wehttam in regards to fighting against Sissi White. Like, getting a kill behind a Sissi White, that's probably the most you're gonna ask for from a Wehttam. This is a bad move as well because I really think you need to save that act again to get the puppet and run away. But that's the only thing Cherry can really do. Like, killing the sword does nothing. Just let Azusa kill the Wehttam and leave the sword there. Double Holy will kill Wehttam, no questions asked, even in the sword aura. So burning the act again means that you're even further down on the tempo. That doesn't even kill, so nice Cherry. Overall slide. Yeah, okay. So for the cost of one singular Wehttam and some cooldowns on Lucretia, you have forced out the IBC kill, you have forced out the McLaine kill, you have forced out both of Cherry's skills and act again. And okay, you only forced out one small skill from Azusa. Pretty value trade for FrostSign. This game is already lost. And what is one Azusa and one Cherry gonna do against this entire team? Even if you find the overall kill, you actually just lose to the tank at this point, or the Lucretia. And there's a million ways to lose this. This is very optimistic. I don't think any version of Cherry will beat Wehttam in a 1v1. Because Wehttam counters, even if you bring Earth Elf, the Wehttam counters will eat your troops, and Cherry alone isn't enough to get through the Sissi. Maybe if you have, we call it, the passive, the Legion, with Period here, maybe you might be able to do something to the Wehttam, but I kinda doubt it. Woo! Azusa runs in. Doesn't do shit because there's no attack buff. Yeah, I guess that was the other problem with his team. There's no attack buff once IBC dies. Okay, he goes for Oboro here. Iron Helmet procs. Very despair damage, but let's be honest here. I don't think that was killing anyway. Wounded Fighting Monks, only 7 troops left, no attack buff, and this Oboro has about 660 M left. Don't think that was a kill even if Iron Helmet didn't proc. And even if this did proc, the Azusa dies with him, and then what? How's your Cherry gonna beat this? Right, so yeah, I am going to skip until the end of this game. Okay. Game 2. Okay. Changes here, we take out Hilda and Azusa, so straight up abandoning the main tank. He's just gotta rely on one CCY if necessary, and Azusa gets out. Yeah, I think this is better. Like, Elwin is a so-called still a tank buster, but I think overall he's still a pretty decent unit because he can faction buff, and now you can get a better game plan with this draft. And now with Himiko, Kruger, Helena, like on top of Wehttam and Lucretia, the Ro16 ban doesn't feel as bad, but I still don't like first banning Ro16 with this kind of team. Like there are 6 non-DPSs. I think just going for the DPS always makes sense because Kyra's not that strong as DPS as well. So, you know, that's kind of a personal opinion and ideology kind of thing. He still gives the first pick Wehttam. I don't know what the fuck is up with the Kyra ban here. He's still going for his AoE strat, I guess. Wehttam is just strong on Gemini Bridge in general. Okay, he matches with his own Wehttam, so finally someone that could do something. What's his next pick? IBC. So I think Lucretia ban is okay. I don't know about the ban on TJS though, because looking at your box, you're gonna get a tank, right? He's just not picking it now because he doesn't want to end up with 2 tanks. And if you have a tank, I don't think you need to be scared of Wehttam plus TJS that much. Especially since you already got your IBC Goddess tier here, so you don't need to be scared of AoE from Wehttam as well. Because you just act again and get rid of the anti-tank, and then the TJS doesn't really offer much into the tank at this point. So I think something else would probably be worth the ban here more. What would I ban? Honestly, I don't know. Maybe some of the AoE units because you already lost your Ro16 and CCY doesn't deal with AoE that well. So probably like Kruger, Himiko, or Helena in place of this. Autocrato and Lucretia, interesting. Autocrato, I don't feel like Autocrato does too much here at this point. I feel like you could have just given that without any issues because Autocrato finds it a little bit difficult to move on this map. Although that's IBC, but movement is still a bit awkward, I would say. And I haven't played this matchup in a while, but I think Wehttam usually can kill Autocrato. Although this is FrostSign's Autocrato, so I have no fucking clue. McLaine. No, McLane's good on this map, but an enabler. So we'll see. I have to see how much the draft rounds out later because I'm not familiar with this unit yet in terms of drafting. Elwin and Kruger. I don't know about banning Elwin. I feel like Elwin doesn't need to be banned here yet. It's a bit early. Doesn't offer that much threat because you're gonna pick a tank later. And I think taking one hit from Elwyn is fine, because you even pick a Sissi White here, right? So you gotta have a Sissi White plus a tank later. Probably. Unless he plans to pick 2 DPS after this. Which depends on whether RM wants to allow him to do that or not, because it's kind of on his ban. Ruler is okay. Kind of annoying AoE unit if you just let him get 1 AoE off, and if there's follow-up. Himiko. Okay. Stands out Oboro and Die Hard. Oboro respectable because Time Bomb. Die Hard over Werner with IBC. Werner would offer a bit more because Werner's a bit flexible. Because you can either take the anti-passive to kill McLaine, or you can take the stun to kill Himiko on this map. It's a bit easier on this map compared to others, so it's a possible option. Or you could just, kill the Wehttam. Whereas Die Hard, I think, you can't kill Himiko, you can't kill McLaine. Kill range on Wehttam's a bit sus. I've seen it done before, but I think you need like IBC stuff or something, which he does have. But I think it's less straightforward as Werner, and I would like Werner more. Octopus plus Pepsi. I'm surprised Octopus didn't get picked earlier, but I guess he likes the AoE more. Pepsi, just because he buffs these 2 guys and it's a good late game unit. Oh, that's okay, that band's okay. Yeah, I like the Werner more than the Die Hard. I think the Werner band is more valuable. He bans Pepsi and yes, so yeah, he does end up with a tank plus Sissi White, so that Elwyn ban. A little bit wasted, I think. Picks up Sissi White. Okay. It still answers the Wehttam a little bit, but it's, we can see from the first game and from my series as well, you kind of have to be careful during the Lance Phalanx downtime. But overall, it's not too bad. 4th pick, second player act again, pretty decent. Now we get rid of Helena and Die Hard, so probably something to do with stuns and the AoE damage, because there's a lot of AoE on this team now if you give the Helena. Means you end up giving Werner, which honestly is a pretty good pick here, although there's no IBC support. This team is lacking in attack buff. You need mass attack from IBC or something, not IBC, from Sissi White or something. Does he have it? Yeah, he does mass attack. You're kind of forced to bring it. It's a bit awkward. The Sissi White with mass attack feels kind of bad, honestly. But it has to be done. McLaine AoE, Himiko push. Wehttam AoE actually, not single target, which... I mean, I guess it does more than single target because hitting the tank does nothing in this game. So you might as well get some AoE damage off. Werner with Warfare Tactics. Sissi White with Forest Priest to try and dispel. But that means the assassins can actually kill Sissi White pretty easily. I think Werner still kills through Shy Maiden anyways, but Werner with Warfare Tactics, IBC Mass Attack, Wehttam Gargoyles with regular single target against McLaine. Christian, just regular tank stuff. Okay, so let's see what can be done here. The AoE might be a bit of a threat because I've been on the receiving end of AoE with Sissi White a few times and that shit is not nice to play with. I didn't check the McLaine star, but this McLaine is 5 stars. Honestly, I think 5-star McLaine cannot be picked too early in draft because this one turn of terrain is actually feels very bad because it runs out so fast that sometimes you forget about it and then your McLaine suddenly loses revive. And it also doesn't block off the enemy for that long, even if they can't override it. So they just wait one turn and then it goes away. I don't think it does enough at 5-star to be picked like second. Unless you're just picking it to override the other guy's McLane's terrain. Which is not this case. First turn, you've got a lot of setup going on. Not much rush yet. Looks like Sissi White difference here. The Inspire. Yeah, that's Inspire. Yeah, one guy starts with 4 coins, the other guy starts with 2 coins. Himiko runs up a little bit far here. And Wuno just walks onto the tree. So it extends with the breeze. So how much does this McLaine terrain actually block? See. Blocks a decent chunk, doesn't affect Wehttam. Yeah, but Wuno is a little bit blocked off here. Long-term investment on Wehttam, but there's a Sissi on the other side. Pretty much a free proc on the Himiko's talent there. Now it depends on how much you rate free, right? It costs two of Sissi White's coins, and it's a, you can just proc. You can just kill this and proc the Despair on Wehttam. Although Despair doesn't really do anything this game. There's not much single target going on other than the assassins, so passive block on Werner could be pretty nice because the Sissi White moved, but there's still IVC that can dispel that. Here he drops the AoE, which I'm a bit surprised. It doesn't really do much, but I guess this is because McLane's terrain only lasts 1 turn, so he wants the terrain to be up at the start of next turn, which is why he's forced to do this. Which is why I say 5-star McLaine feels a bit bad. This terrain is like incredibly low value, but you need to do it if you want the terrain to be up next turn. I'm forced to do this. That stands. Was that in range of anything else? 9. No reach. No nothing. Okay. Werner just stands again. I think he's gonna go in now. Opens with Wehttam instead of Himiko. Interesting. I guess he doesn't want the Himiko to just die. AoE on the front tree. I'm not sure why he didn't move onto the terrain, the city wall, unless he misunderstood how McLaine terrain works. Because, I think it's a free terrain and you're not running that far back anyways. Might as well take the city wall. So, I don't know why he went there. This is a bit of an awkward movement on the Wehttam as well, just to kill the Swan. Okay. This is not Spirit Boots, so it's not gonna run back. This is Swordsmith Medal. So it's kind of stuck here now. But Despair does go off, which has to be cleansed off by Sissi White. Desperate measures. There's no Inspire, so it's actually quite annoying for Sissi White to dispel that. And yeah, about this. Let's go back a little bit. That Wehttam positioning was bad in a few ways, I think, because if you stand on the city wall, the IBC actually has to go all the way here in order to kill you. And that puts her outside of the Christian's guard, which you don't exactly care about the guard, but I think it's easier to take advantage of the IBC that is here rather than IBC that is here. Yeah, you can see here, if he goes from the top, he can only reach this tile, he won't be able to reach, so he has to go from the bottom. And then at that point, you can actually use Werner to kill that maybe? No, not this turn. Because actually, you know what? Because the sword placement is here, if your Wehttam is here, I think the IBC has to come here to even try to kill you. Because without the Sensei's passive, if he stands next to a sword, there's no way this Wehttam dies on City Wall, I think. No way and I think in the same sentence, but I've seen way too many Wehtams survive IBC, so a Wehttam on City Wall and IBC with the Sensei's being disabled, I think that actually doesn't die. Because the Sensei's don't do enough damage to the werewolves, and then IBC has to go through too much HP to kill the Wehttam. And that would be value in itself. I don't know how you convert that to actual value after that, but yeah, it's a different game at that point. And if you go melee range of Wehttam, even if you kill the Werner will counter kill you for 4 range, and this Wehttam still has to deal with the mercenary because you've already used both the sword and the jump. So I guess you could kill McLaine. I'm actually not sure. I don't think this McLaine dies actually. 950 defense. Doesn't have a revive, but he's still on water. Yeah, a bunch of different things could have happened there if this Wehttam would just take the turret. But he doesn't, so the game's a bit different. It does line up nicely for Himiko to drop AoE on 3 units, all 3 of the DPS. And Werner does get the Wehttam kill. Okay. This Werner is basically in range of absolutely anything. And this Werner is a bit sad. I think his attack buff got stolen and he has the damage dealt down with 5 troops left. Can this kill Himiko? Maybe. I'm not sure. If this is not last rites, I think it might still kill. You can come here and use the 3C. And you might have enough with the extra fixed damage after that to be able to kill this, even if you miss the initial kill. And then you run back and hope for the best, because this Werner will probably just come here, take your IBC and then run back here. So then after that you have to somehow find the kill with your Werner in combination with your Egg again, before the McLaine comes nearer to you and kills you. So yeah, I don't know about this. I think the Werner is more valuable than the IBC, even if you clock, because your Egg again is still on cooldown for 2 turns. And it's kinda hard to get near. You're gonna get body blocked by a Himiko that gets her talent back soon. Once the McLaine gets rid of the despair as well, you can't one-shot it. And most importantly, like, this is 1 DPS versus 3 DPS, so the game's pretty hard at this point, even if you have Egg again. I guess even if you keep Werner, you get 1 kill, game's pretty hard as well, because there's 1 other guy with an assassinate skill. Yeah, okay, Werner takes the kill. We have a Pokemon battle here. That is very optimistic. Reese McLaine. Inspire. Yeah, game's pretty hard, right? Even if you act again, I mean, first off, you shouldn't move your Christian like that. I think maybe he could have done something like Christian move here, act again, the IBC, go here, 3C the Werner, get 1 kill that way. Yeah, cause this McLaine still cannot reach this turn, and Himiko has push, which might be annoying, but right now the push doesn't really do much yet, so I think he should have done that. Christian here, act again, IBC come here, get a kill, then you try to kite the McLaine. That doesn't happen, and we have this game position now. Okay, IBC goes for the kill now, but it's in range of everything. This is what drops the attack buff first, lands for Langs actually doesn't do anything, just blocks the Christian. Christian moves. Okay, Himiko pushes the IBC away. It's actually a bit awkward. I wish the Sissi didn't take this spot, because this McLaine doesn't have Egg again, so he doesn't have access to water towers right now. So I think this is not a kill without water towers, because glacials don't do shit outside of water, I think. Yeah, everything is only in water. Himiko has a talent back, and now she does have a talent again. Oh, but it doesn't matter, even if it takes 2 hits, because the sword is breathing turn priority. Now the IBC dies and this game is over. So 1-1. Okay, pretty decent game. Wouldn't be able to tell from the draft, but it worked out okay, I guess. There was too much pressure on FrostSign's DPS to do anything. So Wehttam only managed to kill the sword, and Werner died without doing anything, and that cost his game. So he managed to close out the game before the McLaine tiles went away, and that is the main thing that happened that game. So now we have another Gemini bridge, and okay, we got a bit of a swap here. We drop down Cherry in favor of Archon. Archon was not here in the last game. Not sure why he didn't bring it up the last game on the water map. And then we have Autocrato and Werner down for Kruger and Liana. So a little bit of his own medicine here. This Kruger is very threatening. There's 0 sustain here. Actually no, the Archon was already there. He swapped in the Ares. Okay, fairly interesting. Ares is like AoE / tank busting, so can be flexed. Okay, starting off with a Wehttam ban. 2 Langrisser, so he doesn't want to run Sissi White as the mono tank, so he wants an actual tank, and he bans the Wehttam, so okay, that's fine. We're going back to the dispels here again. You know, it's just the way he wants to play. Open up with IBC. McLaine and Kruger ban. Okay, he doesn't want none of that anymore. Kruger with IBC is also pretty scary with the 2 healers being banned, even if you have a Kyra that technically answers Kruger. But picking Kyra here just feels kinda bad. What does he pick? Picks Sissi White. Healer tank. And this healer is not even good against AoE. So what now? Overall Wehttam, okay, pretty decent ban. And that is not a decent pick, I think. I am RM, I would have either picked the Octopus or the Werner. Is there anything else better? No, yeah, it has to be Octopus or Werner, right? Octopus against, I mean, I guess Werner, right? Because if you pick the Octopus, he can pick IBC defensive stance. But forcing the IBC into defensive stance, you know, by itself, there's a certain amount of value there, right? Because now he can't buff his DPS and you can just kind of play around that. But it's still a bit awkward, so I'll probably favor the Werner pick over here. Like 1 free kill on anything, almost. Because Langrisser doesn't really do much, right? It's hitting into Endius. Like, you can bring AoE, but then your Langrisser is getting checked by both the Lost Hand and Kyra to a certain extent. I don't know, Langrisser doesn't feel like it's gonna do much yet. Octopus and Die Hard, so Werner's still open. And he picks the IBC anyways, because you know, E-less and the defensive formation is good to have anyway, like either formations. And yeah, the Kyra and Lost Hand does get banned out here. And what does he pick now? He picks Ares. I wonder if he shouldn't have gone with Kruger. I mean Kruger bad, not the Kruger pick. I think IBC pick is okay here. Ares, so we don't know what this is yet. I don't know if he wants to kill the Langrisser or he wants to play AoE. Probably AoE, right? Then Himiko and Tejas. Langrisser gets picked up here, which is kind of annoying. I would favor Kruger a bit more though. That's like, the sustain is so bad. Just 1 3C on like half his team and his game is gonna be over. Because like, even if you get like 1 key silence off, game is just over, I think. Granted, the follow-up is not the greatest on this side. So I don't know. Yeah, it might still be a bit tricky, but playing Langrisser into Ares is a bit scary, even though it's still a pretty strong pick. Kruger and Die Hard ban. What does he give? He gives Pepsi and Christian, which is fine, I think. Either of this playing into AoE. He goes for his Pepsi, which is a bit weird. Like, why not just take your Helena and commit to the AoE strat? Because I think this side will have trouble dealing with like 3 AoEs actually. Especially if you have Ares to pull them nearer to your Helena for the follow-up. So this Pepsi, I mean, it's a form of late game, but I feel like you can pick the Helena, and then if you end up with either of the DPS, I think it's still fine. Elwin into Sissi White plus Langrisser is a bit awkward because that's Lancer tank, but if you can squeeze that Lancer, you know, Lancer is gonna get mobility blocked lah, let's be honest, by one of the black holes or something. Or if the AoE just doesn't fuck it up. And Elwin hitting the Langrisser's cavalry is not that bad as well, so not bad per se, but I would have done it a bit differently. Oh, he still gets the Helena, okay. Elwin and Werner back for Pepsi. He doesn't take the Helena. Why? Why? You don't even need the Lancer tank this game. Inspire? Oh, you have IBC. Why? Act again? Yeah, but it's gonna get counteracted by the act again. So not picking Helena with Ares seems like a waste this game. But I digress. Like, unless the Ares is going single target, which I'm pretty sure it's not. Looking at the troop. Yeah, it's Wind Whisper, double AoE Lucretia, Betsy with accelerated 8, okay. So why do you pick this Sissi White if you're gonna pick accelerated 8? Why not just pick something else? Attack skill, Arrow Sneak. Actually, Arrow Sneak doesn't do much, probably another attack skill. IBC Unicorn Smash Attack. Meanwhile on this side we have Unicorn Smash Attack as well. Epsilon with no attack, no faction buff. So I guess he has the Arcane Golem to reduce cooldown on Landius, but it makes the turn 1 a bit tricky. Like, you kinda have to play a bit far back on this turn because you are playing into a pretty aggressive AoE lineup. And Sissi White starting with 2 coins. So you would want to hang back and just buff up, I think. But he just leads with the mass attack into heavy strike formation right off the bat. This IBC runs forward for the buff, which puts it in Pepsi's range after the faction buff, I think. Yeah, if you run 2 more steps, 4 range attack, so you need to summon a Lance attack to compensate for that, which means you can't use Inspire. But it's okay, he brought fucking accelerated 8, so Ares can still get +1 if he wants to. I don't know about the Landius moving forward. I think moving forward against Ares is very risky. Especially with like the nature of this lineup. You want to drag it out a bit, get a bit more coins on Sissi White, you know, get the Arcane Golem activated, Epsilon to be able to find the proper target you want. Probably Ares to start things off, if not IBC. I don't think Epsilon going for Epsilon is ever a thing. No one would like leave the Epsilon in range. Inspire, he's not even gonna drop the Lance attack, so what does this Ares reach? Wait, what did he do? I think he invested. And with this, what? Why do people like not like to use the Ride the Wind? Or is it too long since this guy played Ares? Yeah, with this Inspire, he can actually reach the front. Which is why I don't know why this, why 2 of these guys just went in front. Why not just hang back? You lose nothing by hanging back. Yeah, I think this is a poor game plan from FrostSign, running in front against an Ares. And especially because your Landis hasn't guarded yet. You use faction buff to try and activate your Pepsi. So you get this. Wind Whisper, no crits. And then crit on Pepsi. Even with Ride the Wind, I think this is actually not a kill. You still need to crit. And this actually pulls the Epsilon in front. What does he do? He goes for the puppet, which is not what I would have done actually. I get his logic. Logic is that, ooh, what the fuck, Heaven Sanction. Okay, 1 life off the Lucretia, and he gets the shield from Pepsi. And Pepsi runs back to kill the Ares. That makes a lot of sense. But let's go back a bit, because this is a key point in this game, and I want to talk a little bit more. I would not have gone for the puppet that turn, because I know the logic behind this. The logic is that you kill the puppet so that the Lucretia cannot one-shot your Epsilon. And then you get to come back and kill the Ares next turn. But why not do something like, just come here, kill the IBC, and the puppet doesn't reach you. It's a bit of a ball game against the Tenyo Dispel from IBC. Which, okay, I guess I'll give him that. It's a safer play, I guess. Because if you come here and you try to attack the IBC and then you lose your faction buff, it can be pretty dicey. Because your Epsilon's not carrying his own buff. But if you get that play, I think you might just win the game off the bat because actually maybe not, because the AoE gets broken. I mean the shield gets broken by Lucretia. You're gonna run back, and then you kill the Ares, but you don't get the shield back immediately. And then Lucretia can kill you with Dark Reaper after that. So yeah, that's not a foolproof plan either. Never mind. Okay, so coming back to here. The Epsilon ran back to kill the Ares, and I think this is the turning point of this game. Lucretia sees a tasty black hole and goes for it, which I think actually loses him the game, even though it hits 4 people and kills the Lucretia. What should have been done here, I think, would be IBC runs in and just kills this Pepsi. This Pepsi is the last thing standing that is actually threatening to this Pepsi, I think. Because, multiple reasons, right? If your IBC kills this, he gets 1 action. Landius is not guarding yet, so he has 2 moves. He either guards with Landius or he heals with Sissi White. If he heals with Sissi White, your Epsilon comes in and kills the Lucretia. You break your shield because he still has 5 range, but it's okay. Because this IBC cannot really chase you to here. He will have to... You know, there's still a IBC here, and there's gonna be a Pepsi here. And this IBC can only take 1 kill. And if this Landius runs in front to try and position to guard his IBC, this Lucretia will just pick off the CC White at the back. And if he tries to... Actually, wait. Okay, my train of thought kind of went away. Cause it's kind of a lot of moves, so... Landius open guard, Pepsi commits for the kill. IBC probably goes for the opponent Pepsi kill, so the IBC will still be here on RM's side. But before you can do that, you need to move CC White up and then Landius to here, so that you can guard the IBC that's gonna be here. Still a bit tricky. Like, you're gonna eat a black hole the moment your CC White moves, which can be kinda bad. So the other option is the CC White just heals the Lucretia, and then you would just fucking Dark Reaper it from 5 range, right? Cause you already burned the revive and he's not guarding. I think that's worse, cause now that's a worse move for FrostSign, because now you can't even kill the Pepsi with your IBC, cause the Pepsi is still here. So it has to be the other way around, which is that no, if your Landius guards, you can't guard your fucking... Yeah, that's a losing play, right? If your IBC just takes the Epsilon, there's almost no move FrostSign can take. Lucretia running backwards, maybe? No, Lucretia run backwards, you die to Black Hole. If you heal, you die to Lucretia. Dark Reaper. So you are dead either way. Yeah. If he just took this kill, I think RM wins on the spot. But he didn't, so let's see how that unfolds. Epsilon gets his shield back, heals back up to almost full. The debuff doesn't really matter at this point. There's no more assassin. I mean, there's a Pepsi, but there's a shield on this side, so cooldown's coming back. And we can see the game slowly spiraling out of control. Takes the kill on Lucretia, runs back because... no, run back. This is offensive IBC. But he just leaves the IBC there, it's fine. He can take it. Because the lesser units there are, the easier for Pepsi to win this game. Because you have Pepsi and a tank. Just heals, he doesn't even want to act again, he doesn't need to. Infantry. Interesting. If I am FrostSign, I would actually just probably make a cavalry to break the Epsilon shield. Yeah, then I would just hard commit my Epsilon. Because IBC, even if the IBC kills the Pepsi, IBC doesn't beat Langrisser plus Sissi White, I'm pretty sure. Like, if he summons a Lancer tank, you just kill it with Sissi White, and then your Langrisser just starts punching the IBC, and then you win anyway. That's okay. I mean, this game is still pretty much a hard win if you don't do anything stupid. IBC tries to get the fuck out of the way. This is so hard. Like, how are you gonna break the opponent's Pepsi with just one ignore guard skill? You can't. Like, FrostSign just needs to not throw. It has to be a very weird sequence of actions for that to happen. Just fucking kills the Lancer tank because why not? He has 2 skills. And it's like, what can you do about it? Nothing. Then this is still guarding, yeah. 1 turn of faction buff left, but the puppet can just reduce the cooldown on this to buff again. Spire. Like, if your Pepsi's not gonna come, I'm just slowly gonna kill everything else. Heavy strike formation. I think puppet just reduces the Langrisser cooldown now, yup. Then Langrisser runs in front to guard. Yup. Auto buff. The guard is still up. And then Pepsi goes fishing. Oh, desperation time. He goes for the attack on Epsilon. Doesn't get it. Doesn't break his shield. Doesn't care. Goes for the IBC. Doesn't lose his faction buff. Losing his faction buff might be a bit tricky there. But I think he still wins. Because it's not like this ignore guard is coming back soon anyway. Yeah, now you just chill. And slowly Epsilon will finish off the game. Should have taken that Epsilon kill on the second turn. Now you're just out of place and this game is over, and I think I'm going to cut this video short because there's really no way back. Yep, okay. So yeah, that's the end of this series. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next one. Peace.